Hi, super sensitives. It's Amber Rochelle from amberrochelle.com, and I'm just doing a quick little sort of like impromptu pop in here because I felt inspired to talk to you guys. So this isn't as polished as I try and normally make my vlogs, but whatever. I felt like I needed to talk to you about some stuff. So I just want to get really real for a minute. There has been, not surprisingly at all, a lot of people in my group, in my super sensitives group, just talking about not feeling good enough and not feeling worthy and, not really being able to trust their feelings. And I'm not surprised because this is really, really, really common for sensitive people. So many of us struggle with all three of those things. And I just want to riff about it for a minute because it's really important. It's probably the most important thing. And when I was a child and I was growing up, I absolutely fucking hated myself. Like my self esteem was zero, zero. And I'm just gonna get really raw with you guys for a minute here, okay? And I don't normally do this, but well, I kind of do, but whatever. Anyways, point being, like I grew up completely hating myself, and it was like I had this drill sergeant in my head. I was a total perfectionist, and I just was so mean to myself. And when things like that happen, it's usually some sort of a protective mechanism. We don't really mean to be mean to ourselves, but when you're a child and we internalize everything, right? We never want our parents to be bad people. We never want the adults or the authority figures or the people that are taking care of us to be bad people, because that just like crushes our little brains. Like we can't even like process that. So we always make it about us. Like we always, or usually, feel like it's our fault or something that we did wrong. And when that happens at a very, very young age, it just sort of snowballs, right? And what happened with me is that I had a lot of perfectionism problems and I had a lot of control issues because I felt like I had to work harder to be loved. I felt like I wasn't lovable just as I was. I had to prove myself somehow to be accepted and to be loved, that I had a deep, deep flaw, that there was something so wrong with me that I couldn't just like be. And then I was also always trying to be perfect because I thought if I could be perfect somehow, that it would be okay, it would make things okay, and then that would make up for whatever this flaw is that I thought that I had. And this makes me emotional because it's so sad to look back at how mean I was to myself. And I also did not trust my feelings at all. I really didn't, because everybody around me, because I was such a like intense, I mean, I'm a Scorpio, you guys. Like, I am intense, like, and I know it. um, like, I was such an intense, dramatic, like, emotional, sensitive little girl, and that wasn't really respected at all in my family, and it was seen as annoying, and people didn't understand it, and it was like I was a crybaby, and this and that and the other, and so, but what happened, and what I've seen happen in so many sensitive women's and men's lives, is that you grow up being told, that your feelings are too big, your feelings are somehow, you're always overreacting, or you're too dramatic, or you're too this, or you're too that. And so again, as a child, we believe them when they say that to us. And so instead of saying, wait a minute, no, I'm not, like, these are my feelings, like, screw you, no, when you're a child, you're like, oh, okay, something's wrong with me. Like, I'm not supposed to feel these feelings. And then what happens is that you start to disconnect from your feelings. You start to distrust them. And so how that all manifested for me is that, I used to be a self-harmer. I would hurt myself really badly. I mean, it's really sad, and then I also developed, okay, phone cut out. Sorry about that. Here we go again. Anyways, yeah, no, I developed a very serious eating disorder, and I was really sick for a really long time. And, it was, that was the perfectionism coming into play, and the control. And, I just was so tuned out from my own feelings. I felt like everything I felt was invalid. And every time I had a big feeling, it just reinforced to me that idea that there was something wrong with me, that I was flawed. And it took me a really, really long time to get healthy. And I had to go through a lot of treatment. Now, it's not that dramatic for everybody, thank God. But that really deep wound of feeling like you can't trust your feelings because you've been told for so long that you were neurotic, or that you were crazy, or that what you were feeling was somehow not right, and that there's something wrong with you. That's what I really want to talk about, because I'm sorry, fuck that. Like, and excuse my language, but I'm super passionate about this, okay? Because here's the deal, you guys. You have one life to live. And I want to tell you something, and I mean this. Every single feeling that you have is valid. It is 100% valid. I don't care if people don't understand it. I don't care if people think you're overreacting. I don't care if they think that, it's too big or like they just can't process why you would like be feeling that way or be feeling that way for that long or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's your feeling. It's your feeling. You're not crazy. You're not overreacting. That's your reaction. And yes, people do sometimes overreact. I'm not saying that's not something that doesn't happen. But what I'm saying to you is that as a sensitive soul, you naturally have bigger, more intense, longer lasting emotions. That's just part of your genetic makeup. Okay, so your feelings are 100% valid, and I want you to stop apologizing for them, because every time that you apologize for them, you reinforce this notion that there's something wrong with you and that you don't deserve to feel the way that you feel. But, believe me, you guys, your feelings are so valid. And not only are they valid, but they need to be heard. Feelings are there for a reason. And when we push our feelings down and we don't trust them and we feel like, and we tell ourselves, oh, you're being crazy or you're being overly dramatic, those feelings, they just keep like layering on top of each other, right? It's like this, like, I like to call it like a shit cake. Like, and again, sorry for my language, but seriously, you guys, like, it's like this shit cake that like, is just sitting in you, and how are you supposed to be happy, and how are you supposed to not have anxiety, and how are you supposed to like have flow in your life when you have this constant backlog of feelings in you? Because feelings are guideposts. They're actually our friends. As much as they can suck sometimes, they are actually our friends. And so when they come up for you, like, honor them, like, respect them. Be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to stop telling you, feeling that you're full of shit, and I'm going to be like, okay, I see you. I see you. I hear you. What are you here to teach me? What are you here to tell me? Breathe into the feeling. Be with the feeling. Validate yourself. Honor yourself. Honor those feelings. Let them be okay. Because then, you guys, then they dissipate. I used to think this was the biggest load of crap. I totally thought it was bullshit, but it's not. And now I completely believe it, and I'm teaching it to you. And so if you're thinking this girl is full of shit, I get it. But please trust me, and just please try working with this, because it's so, so important. Because here's the deal, you guys. You only have one life. Why are you going to go through life, invalidating all of your own feelings and hating on yourself? I wasted 10 plus, probably 15 plus years of my life. I mean, not wasted. It's not like I didn't do good things, but like, I was so mean to myself. And when I look back on that, I feel so bad for like my younger self. I feel so bad that I had to spend so much time going through life like that. And I do not want that for anybody else. I do not want that for you. You and you alone get to decide whether you feel good enough or not. I don't care if other people say you're not, or projecting that on you or whatever, but you have to sit down and say, you know what? Okay, this is me. This is who I am. This is what I look like. This is my body. This is my history. This is my current situation. Okay, seriously, sorry guys, my phone is spazzing. And say like, well, I may not love the way that everything is going on right now. I get to choose whether or not I'm going to love myself, and I get to choose whether or not I'm going to feel good enough. Because like, how are you going to be happy when somebody's being so mean to you all the time, And the first step is really loving yourself. And I'm not saying that's easy, and there's steps to it. And I would love to teach you guys those steps. And I try to teach you guys those steps in our group. And, with my one-on-one clients, definitely walk you through, hold your hand through the process. But the first step is to really go, hey, wait a minute. Do I really want to spend the rest of my life feeling like this? Because as much as it may sometimes not feel like it, it actually is a choice. Like at some point, you just have to be like, enough. Like, enough. Like, I don't deserve this from myself. I don't need this from myself. I have enough people harping on me, right? Like, show up for you. Show up for your inner child. And I know that's a cheesy term, but it's true. That kid, that little you, go get a picture of yourself when you were a child and look at that the next time you're being mean to yourself, because that little girl is still inside of you and she still needs you. She needs you to be there for her, and your feelings need you to be there for them. And this is really important stuff, you guys. And, I just felt really inspired to come in here and riff on it, because I just am so passionate about helping you guys to work through this stuff because it's just no way to live a life. And I know because I've been there. And, I just really want you guys to understand how much power you have, how much power you really have to change your life. And sorry, I'm getting emotional, but it's just such a, like, you get to choose. Like, you get to choose that your feelings are valid, and you get to choose that you are good enough and that you're worthy of love, of your own love. So that's just what I wanted to say to you today. So I love you guys. And yeah, I'm not going to do my whole spiel about the Facebook group and blah, blah, but I just really wanted to pop in here and say this stuff to you.